I actually took a screenshot of what our ROAs are. Before we met you, our ROAs were somewhere around 7 times. Right
Mhm.
now, they're between 21 and 25 times investment. So, yeah. And when we first did our interview with you, we were asked, "Well, do you have enough money to buy stock?" And we're like, "Yeah." So yeah, we're short of stock. That happened. It wasn't the lack of money either. It's just because we're a small batch, we just,
Mm,
we can't just snap our fingers and have things appear.
yeah.
So, yeah, we're doing really well. Like we're growing at a really great pace. Um, we have the time to scale up, but we'll get a shipment in from India of our silks and we pre-sell them before they even land because they all
Mm,
get added to our website before they come to Canada. And it got to the point where people were so anxious to buy them. I said, well, let's just put out a sneak peek and people can shop before they land. Well, we sell out of the sneak peeks before they even land. So we
amazing.
have the money to pay for the order before the order lands. And then plus all the profit from it. I was thinking about it the other day. So every Monday, I have an incoming account. So all of the money that comes in from the business goes into an account, which I call incoming. And then from there, it gets slotted into these different accounts like rent or,
Mhm.
India shipment accounts or taxes or whatever. And I've realized that it's gotten to the point where I invariably have $10,000 a week to move around like that without question. Sometimes it's up to 25,000 a week. Um, but it has gotten to that point that you guys talked about where there is a reliable source of income coming in.
Mm,
And again, we just keep doing better and better each month. There's word of mouth that's helping us, but it just all really came together after we wrapped our heads around what you guys were offering in terms of forcing us to see our business a different way.
mm,
And I thought that I did. Like, I do understand my consumer. I would be in store and I'd be working with customers and I know exactly what they want. And yet I didn't know how to translate that. So on average, we're 80 a month, but like there are months where it's significantly higher.
mhm.
And the only reason I think that we're not higher than that is because we don't have the stock. Like it's not that we don't have the potential, we just don't have the stock. I think we just needed a mindset change. We really were those people who had so much energy and were putting it out in a million different directions. And when I first saw the first ad that crossed across my screen that said you really the one with the M&Ms or the Skittles or whatever,
Yeah.
I really did realize, yeah, I just need to find where my energy needs to go to maximize what's happening on the other end. There were only a few of us running the whole show.
Mm,
And, we knew we had to be on Instagram and we knew we needed to, everyone kept saying, you got to be on TikTok. And I was like, I don't want to be on TikTok. And then, there were just so many things. And then we would participate in fashion shows. And then we're very community oriented. It's a very small community we're a part of. So, we would do things with people on the street and help boost other businesses and do collaborations. But it was a lot of like little things here and there. And I still think those things are important. I think it is really important to build community and have people coming together, not just as faces on a computer, but actually coming together to support each other. But I feel like that has like this much space in my business. So instead of doing 3 or 4 fashion shows a year with different organizations, we do one. And that's pretty much all we need. And we do it in addition to helping, participate in these small town type activities. It helps us, we use it to capture imaging that we can use for our stuff later. We had reached out to a number of agencies, but upon hearing back from them, I just didn't really feel like I felt like it was a lot of hullabaloo with that wasn't going to have a lot of effect. And we did reach out to some influencers, and it was exactly what you said. Like we actually, our
yeah.
influencers, they did it for free. We were fledgling, and they really believed in us. But still, I couldn't be sure. Like we'd be like, okay, we'll send this over to you, and then they do this great shoot, and we'd know for a fact that maybe 3 sales came in, and maybe people saw these pictures, but it never actually turned into anything tangible. I'm
Mm,
generally pretty good at trusting my intuition. And I had a feeling that you guys were coming from a place of knowing what the heck you were talking about. And I don't know if that came out of your advertising. Like it must have been your advertising, but I think even there was like that video that we could watch, the first one that you
mhm.
guys give out for free where you explain everything. And I watched that and I thought, this makes sense. Like I could see me being able to use this. And, I get lots of ads. I mistakenly said out loud in front of my phone that I wish that there was some sort of a yoga thing that I could join. Well, so now I'm getting all of these like targeted yoga ads, and it's this one lady, and like I get a different ad from her every day, like targeting different things about this program that she offers. And it's been going on a month now, and it's not even expensive. It's like $27. And I haven't said yes because there's something about it that just doesn't feel, yeah, like based in fact. Like I feel like she's just some woman who's like, I had a great idea of how I could make $27 off of a bunch of people.
Mhm.
Whereas with you guys, I really felt like you were saying, give us some money and we'll actually change things for you. Even when we did that first interview, it was almost like we were being interviewed, like,
Mhm.
are you the right candidate for what we have to offer? And the fact that you guys wanted to make sure that you got the right candidates and what the right candidates looked like to you also made me think that you're taking your business pretty seriously. You want your numbers to look good. You want your results to look good. You're not just going to take anybody who has money to wave in your face. If they're not going to help you improve your stats, you don't want them. So that also seemed really authentic. After that, we just started targeting, we called it low hanging fruit. And we basically said in each of these three categories, what is the easiest problem we can solve so that we can start seeing money right away. So we spent the first few months just with that. And then I think the really big mindset change came around the advertising. Like I had always seen those ads that were compelling, but a little cheesy. And I thought, that's not my brand. And it took me a while to get to the point to realize that that's not selling out. To get people's attention is not selling out in today's, social media economy where you have just like you have to get in there and get them to stop scrolling. And I kind of came to the realization it's a lot like if you have made this like amazing baby food for your baby, it's good for them, it's going to help them grow, and they probably will even like it. But sometimes you have to go in like it's an airplane to get them to open their mouth the first time. And it is a little manipulative, but you're kind of doing it for the greater good. And once they've had that first bite, maybe they will be interested. We ended up focusing, instead of the fact that we're using upcycled vintage luxurious silks that are one of a kind, we made all of our advertising around don't lose your luggage again. Oh, no, well, and this was an actual comment from one of our customers. She wrote in, she said she was a former flight attendant and she loves using Sorry Not Sorry because she's seen so much so many people lose their luggage, and that doesn't happen to her when she shops with Sorry Not Sorry because she does everything in her carry-on. So we changed all of our advertising we started with you in August. By the time we got our website organized and everything ready to start directing people over there and actually investing money into our meta advertising, we changed it to former flight attendant shares secret to never losing her luggage or something like that. And then it turned into this big long script about like there's a part of it where she talks about dropping pizza sauce on herself and she's like, and I just washed it in the sink. And it just people really liked it. It just seemed very authentic. It was someone living their best life in lightweight clothing. By the time we set the ads in place, everything else had been redone. We had made our website more user friendly. And like we really rethought everything. And then we opened up our ads to the United States as soon as we reopened our ads. And it just took off. Like we started getting so many sales from the States. And they were like crazy numbers. Like we sell clothing. The average price on a piece of clothing is about 200 Canadian average. We had customers, for example, like Mildred, who started following us in April, has spent $25,000 Canadian on our stuff since April. And she's 71 years old. I Googled her. And she doesn't have time to wear everything that she bought. But something about what we did really resonated with her. And she's just one example of many. So I guess once we started seeing these people come in from the States, and the quantities that they were buying, we thought, okay, we have definitely done something. We've reached out to them and our messaging is resonating with them. I guess the difference is going from having stock and, always having a full store to having nothing. Like literally the shipment lands about 600 pieces and 550 of them are sold as we're
Mm,
unboxing, they're already gone.
mm.
So I guess, yeah, that's probably where we really noticed the change. We can't keep up. Most recently, what we had to do was to take a portion of our shipments and say, we will not be putting these online because people were coming out to our store and we'd be like, because we really advertise that, we'll help you find your perfect fit and help you find comfort in your clothing so that you feel like you are dressed in a way that makes you feel elegant, but still like yourself and,
Mm.
comfortable, but not too casual. And we had nothing to try on the customers. They'd get to the store and we'd be like, yeah, our racks are empty. So that's a problem. And we had people like they'd come in. I don't know how familiar you are with Canada, but like they'd come in from New York and get to the
Wow.
airport and come to us first before they even
Mm,
went to their hotel to check in. Or from PEI, Prince Edward Island, which is way on the other
mhm.
side of Canada, same thing. Or they'd be like, they'd drive to Peterborough from Nova Scotia, it's a huge distance. It's
Yeah.
halfway across Canada. And then they'd be like, yeah, and then we thought we'd just do a day trip to your store. Well, that's 5 hours from Peterborough. So all of these people are coming, and we had nothing for them.
Mm,
So now we're like holding back some things, and it's been nothing but good news. I remember before things really fell into place, like I would be on my accounting app every day going, okay, all right, I better move $100 here. Otherwise, that's not going to go through. And now I look at it once a week before payday and everything looks exactly as it should. And I
mm,
move the money around and I'm like, okay, that's done. What else am I going to work on? So like I'm not worried about that anymore. And there've been all kinds of economic changes. I don't know what's going on in Australia, but we're kind of not really in a recession, but maybe we are.
a
Like
half
it's
precision. Yeah.
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 So, we and that hasn't even affected us. Like we're still growing despite
Yeah.
everything. And then I thought, okay, we've dealt with all the stuff about getting customers in. Now let's find out exactly what's going on with the numbers. And when I did, I realized that my margins weren't anywhere near where I thought they were. Like where I thought my margins were at 200%, they were in some cases 30 by the
Mhm.
time you figured everything in. Um, so that was a real eye opener. But because we had everything else in place, like with really good marketing, with a great looking website that was easy to navigate, with really targeted ads and targeted messaging, like everything that we do now says clothes that fit for life because
Mhm.
we're one size fits all, right? And this whole idea that you can share your clothes with your friends, or you
Mm,
can buy it when you're 20 and wear it when you're 60 and it's still going to look good.
mm,
Um, so now that we have all of that in place, then we raised our prices significantly and we had no pushback at all. I think I see it now as something that generates income, which is something that I
mm,
didn't see it as before. Before it was just a really good idea that I knew was doing well. Like
mm,
and that people loved it. And now I really see it as a business. Like this is something that is going to make money for me, that's going to make money for my staff, that's going to enable and that's part of the reason that I'm working so hard. And I'm a retired teacher. My husband is a lawyer. We're doing okay. Like this was kind of
mhm,
like a hobby gone wild. And but I do have youngins on staff, girls who are in their women who are in their 20s. And I want to be able to provide for them the same opportunities that I had, to be able to buy a house, to be able to buy a car. So I feel like making more money for me has really come down to, can I support my team? And
mm,
since I started with you guys, I'm like, yeah, that's my goal. I want to create this business to create decent jobs for my team and to create beautiful things for the people who want to participate in our fashion revolution. If you're serious about growing your business and you're serious about devoting your time to something that's going to make a difference, yes. If you're just playing around with your business and with your time, don't bother. It's work. It's really work. But if you're
mm.
willing to put in the work in this part of your business, the same way you're willing to put in work in other parts of your business, you will see a difference.